Let's dive right into this explainer by addressing a feeling I am willing to bet you know entirely too well. Somewhere, right now, or maybe just 10 minutes ago, you were scrolling. And as you were scrolling, you saw someone exactly your age who has the house, the body, the relationship, or the career that you honestly thought you would have by now. And right in that moment, you know what happens. Something in your chest just tightens. It's not exactly jealousy, it's kind of something a little quieter and honestly a whole lot worse. It's that anxious, sinking feeling that washes over you, making you feel like you're somehow just failing at life.
That quiet, awful feeling usually boils down to two simple, devastating words. I'm behind. You look around at everyone else who seems to have effortlessly hit the milestones you're still completely struggling toward, and this little voice whispers that you are lagging way behind the pack. But here is the thing that nobody tells you about that feeling. It is completely 100% lying to you.
So, we really need to completely reframe how we look at this experience. That feeling of being behind, it's not information. It is absolutely not useful data about your life or your progress. Instead, it's a mental trap that your brain just kind of fell into entirely without your permission. And for so many of us, this invisible trap has been quietly running our self-worth for years. So today, we're going to look at exactly why comparison lies to you, what it's literally costing you, and how to build a mind that stops measuring itself against everyone else.
Section 1. The illusion of comparison.
We actually trick ourselves into thinking comparison is a healthy motivator, right? We tell ourselves that looking at someone else's wild success is helping us, like it's pushing us to do more, be more, and finally catch up. But let's look at the reality. Comparison rarely makes people work harder in a healthy way. Mostly, it just makes us feel worse. And feeling worse does not build momentum. It builds shame. And shame doesn't push you forward, it freezes you entirely in place. Or even worse, it sends you frantically chasing goals that were never actually yours to begin with.
The core problem here is that you are fighting a massively unfair fight. You are comparing your full, messy, behind-the-scenes reality, every single doubt, every 2 a.m. worry, the failed attempts, the hidden fights, to someone else's highly edited highlight reel. You see the gorgeous vacation photo, but not the crippling debt behind it. You see the huge promotion post, but not the severe burnout that came with it. You don't see the 15 awkward outtakes it took to get that casual, candid beat shot. You're comparing your actual life to their edited movie trailer, and you're losing every single time because, well, that comparison was completely rigged from the start.
And the thing is, this habit doesn't just stay confined to your phone. It shows up at family dinners when someone casually mentions a cousin's amazing new job. It shows up in group chats when a friend announces an engagement the exact same month you went through a terrible breakup. It shows up quietly in your own head at 11 p.m. And the cost of all this? It's massive. Every minute you spend measuring your life against someone else's is a minute you aren't spending building your own. Comparison steals your mood, your focus, and your energy. But most tragically, it literally steals your identity. Because eventually you stop asking what you actually want, and you just start asking how to catch up to them.
Section 2. Your ancient brain wiring.
Before you start beating yourself up, you have to realize you aren't broken. You're just dealing with ancient human biology. This isn't some modern character flaw. It goes back to something called Dunbar's number. See, for most of human history, knowing exactly where you stood in your tribe, whether you were stronger, weaker, higher status, or lower status, actually mattered for your physical survival. Your brain literally evolved to constantly scan your environment and track your status in a small tribe of maybe 150 people. Now, thanks to that smartphone sitting in your pocket, your brain is trying to rank you against millions of perfectly curated lives all at the exact same time. Your brain was simply never built for that kind of comparison at that massive scale.
I really want you to let that sink in for a second. That awful tight feeling in your chest, it isn't proof that you are failing at life. It's just an outdated survival instinct, firing off in completely the wrong context. Once you understand this, something really amazing shifts. You can stop treating this feeling like it's the absolute objective truth, and you can start treating it as what it really is. It's just noise.
Section 3. Retraining your mental reflex. Knowing it's just noise doesn't instantly fix the problem. Comparison is a mental habit, a reflex really, and the good news is that habits can be broken and retrained. So here's a highly effective 6-step framework to reclaim your mental space. First, you have to catch the moment it happens. You can't interrupt a habit you don't even notice, so name it right after you scroll. Second, ask what you're actually comparing. Are you comparing your full, messy story to their highlight reel? Third, redirect that question inward. Focus entirely on your own timeline. Fourth, unfollow what hurts you. Fifth, get incredibly specific about your own personal definition of a good life. And sixth, learn to celebrate others without shrinking yourself in the process.
Remember, two things can be true at once. They can be doing really well, and you can still be doing really well on a completely different timeline.
Now, step 4 is absolutely crucial and honestly so empowering. You do not owe anyone your attention. If a specific account or a person or a feed constantly leaves you feeling worse about your own life, you have total permission to mute it or unfollow it. Protecting your mind isn't being petty. It is necessary routine maintenance for your mental health, period.
And step 5 is just as vital. So much comparison happens simply because we are chasing a vague, completely borrowed version of success. A certain style of house, a specific fancy job title, without ever once stopping to ask if that's actually what we want. What does a genuinely good life look like to you, in your own unborrowed words? Because here's the secret. Once you know exactly what you want, other people's paths instantly stop feeling like a threat.
Section 4. Running your own race.
This brings us to dismantling the absolute grandest illusion of all. Comparison relies on a huge lie. The idea that there's only one race, one finish line, and every single one of us is heading toward the exact same thing. But the truth is, your background, your circumstances, your timing, and your personal definition of a good life, none of it matches anyone else's. Because of that, the entire comparison game was rigged from the very start. You literally can't lose a race you were never actually running.
And I want to let you in on a surprising secret that is so easy to miss. The people you are constantly comparing yourself to, many of them are doing the exact same thing to someone else. They are quietly measuring themselves against someone even further ahead, feeling totally behind in their own way for reasons you will never, ever see from the outside. Almost everyone is playing this exact same losing game simultaneously, completely convinced that they are the only ones falling short.
The moment you stop comparing isn't the moment you stop caring about your own growth. Actually, it's the moment your growth finally becomes yours. So here's my challenge to you. Today, when that urge to compare inevitably creeps back in, don't fight the feeling. Instead, just pause and ask yourself this one single question. Am I better than I was 6 months ago? That shifts your measuring stick away from an impossible external target you can't control right back to your own timeline. It is genuinely the only fair metric that matters. Ask yourself that question and finally go claim your own growth.